everyone, and welcome back to Unbox with Joe, where we talk stories on the cuff on topics we don't run away from. The podcast where we unpack real stories from real people. Whether you're tuning in from work, at home, or abroad, I'm so glad you're here. Today, I'm honored to share the story of someone I've known since childhood. My classmate turned globetrotter Marky. From growing up in Naguilian to becoming a nursing student in Baguio and now thriving in Dubai as both hotel nurse and HR coordinator, Marky's path hasn't been easy. He's faced challenges head on, getting scammed by fake recruiters, starting over, and finding strength through faith, family, and fierce determination. He's also the kind of person who turns trials into triumphs with heart, with humor, and with hustle. So get cozy and let's unbox the journey of Marky, the boy from Naguilian who found his calling from home but never forgot where he came from. Welcome to the show, Marky.
Hi, Joe. Good evening, and thank you for inviting me to your podcast. To all your subscribers, hello, I'm Mark.
Thank you so much for allowing us to share your journey with our fellow kababayans and our listeners around the world. So let's head on with your first question, Mark. Can you take us back to your childhood? What was life growing up in Naguilian and later studying in Baguio?
All right. So I have two siblings. I'm the youngest in the family. Back in the province, we live a simple life. My mother was a housewife and my father was a bus driver. So growing up, I remember that I used to be very timid and introverted, perhaps because I was trying to hide or conceal my true self. I even remember that I struggled with accepting or showing my true self. This is because I feared of being bullied and judged. However, over the time, I began to embrace my true self and began living my life authentically and of course with pride. I remember also during my high school days, I was really very focused on my studies. I even remember that I was always aiming to be part of the honor students. So these are the reason my uncle saw my potential in me. So after I graduated in high school, he introduced me to his one of his friends who is a doctor who is based in Hawaii. So fortunately, I got the scholarship. So during that time it was 2007 that nursing was very in demand, especially in abroad. So I decided to pursue nursing. And I decided to study in Baguio because my two sisters were also who happens also to study in Baguio, and I have my aunt and my cousins who were living there. So that's it. So I decided to study as well in Baguio City.
You mentioned being scholar and supported by your uncle's friend. How did that support shape your determination and finish nursing?
Job, being a scholar, it had an impact on my determination to complete or finish my nursing. Being a scholar, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity that I didn't want to take for granted. It's an opportunity for me, and it has motivated me to stay focused or to work harder and eventually graduate and get my license. It taught me the value of being gratitude and being perseverance.
What challenges did you face during college while juggling studies and financial responsibility?
During college days, of course, it was not that smooth, I would say. I've also encountered challenges when it comes to financial and personal. Financially, although the doctor sponsored or covered my tuition fee, my parents still need to provide my daily allowance. So I remember that there were times that we were struggling financially, especially when my father had to quit his job. On the other hand, on the personal level, I felt a lot of pressure. Being a scholar comes with a responsibility that I need to present or show a certain grades, basically high grades. So somehow there were times that it was mentally exhausting. But these challenges and trials, it made me even pursue more to finish my studies and eventually graduate and get my license.
Struggles are really a driving force when it comes to reaching your goal. What did it feel like when you passed the board exam and became a licensed nurse?
Of course, Joe, when I passed the board exam, it's a real moment for me. I felt that it was the happiest moment of my life. So my parents, of course, were very proud of me as well as my two sisters. All their efforts and sacrifices, including the doctor's sponsorship, were all worth it and it pays off. I even remember, Joe, that I even laminated, the newspaper where my my name was published, and I posted it on my room's wall. So every now and then I see my name in my wall. So yeah, that's I told also to myself that this is the beginning of the journey.
It's definitely a proud moment. Not everyone can actually like pass that tough exam, especially in the Philippines during the time when you mentioned that nursing is booming. Everybody's taking nursing because of the amount of opportunity that you can actually get abroad. But at the same time, you're competing with not only hundreds, but thousands of people to pass and get an employer right away. So you shared that you were almost scammed by a recruiter in Singapore. That must have been tough. How did that experience affect you emotionally and what kept you going?
Did Joe, I was a scam. So after I passed the board exam, first I worked as a volunteer nurse in one of the hospitals in Naguilian. So there's one midwife who's having a sister, and that sister of her approached us to work or encourage us to work in Singapore as a nurse. So basically, we grabbed that opportunity. We submitted all the required documents. Months have passed and we did a lot of follow ups, but she kept on making empty promises till we
Mm.
realized that we were scam, basically. So, of course, knowing this, it was really devastating and frustrating on my part. And I felt like I became hopeless. All my dreams was ended there. But this experience taught me or motivated me to push harder. And this even made me determined to pursue my goal in working in abroad. So that was the story about that scam thing.
How did the opportunity in Saudi Arabia open up for you, and what do you remember most about that transition?
Okay, so I have a friend, high school classmate. His name is Mark, who is now based in Germany, basically our friend. So before he was also working in Saudi Arabia. So his mother happened to be that she has also a friend who is a recruiter sending nurses in Saudi Arabia. So Mark's mother introduced me to that recruiter. So eventually we agreed that I would proceed to an application going to Saudi Arabia. So back and forth, we went to Manila. And then one day, the employer from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, went to Manila to conduct an interview. And I'm one of those who attended the interview amongst, I believe it's thousands of nurses across the Philippines. So luckily, after 2 weeks, or I think it was 3 weeks, I received a call from that recruiter that I passed the, how you call this one, the interview. So I was extremely happy. And that's the start of my journey in Saudi Arabia. So again, we went to Manila to process the visa. And eventually I get the working visa and I get the ticket. And yeah, hello, Saudi.
During that time of transition, Mark, you worked in Jeddah for 5 years, right?
Yes.
How was the experience living and working there?
Working in abroad, it's the first time that I step out of my comfort zone. So, working in abroad for the first time, it's a life changing experience. Of course, I needed to adjust to their cultures, basically, and I need to adapt to their lifestyle. I needed also to learn their language because in the hospital that I work, we are required or it's mandatory for us to communicate in their to their language, which is Arabic, to our patient. But one of the fondest or the greatest memories I had in Saudi is the friendship that was formed. Even till now, I have a still connection with them after 10 years, which is I'm really proud of. And during that time, I saw the true spirit of Filipino solidarity. Wherein, in times of homesickness, in times of struggles, they were there to guide you, to support you. They were like my, second family. So every time that I call them, so they are there to support you. And also working it abroad, it opened my passion in traveling. I want more to explore more countries, to learn more culture, to meet more friends, perhaps. So yeah.
Did you have to learn Arabic when you arrived there or prior to arriving to Jeddah?
Yes, I did it myself, and of course with the support of my friend Mark. He taught me a lot of Arabic words when we are workmates there in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, you guys actually work together there
Yes.
too as well, huh?
Yes, I believe it was, we worked together 3 years in Saudi.
All right. For those who are listening right now, you can check out Mark's episode. He is our first Unbox episode one. If you want to learn more about the Mark that we're talking about, he's actually a very good friend of ours. But it's actually very heartwarming to know that you have a fellow kababayan, not only a fellow kababayan, but also a friend that's there to help you during your transition to a new country that speaks language and writes differently when it comes to, script. Did you even learn how to write Arabic at the same time too?
I learned to write Arabic with their numbers only. But words, it's really hard to learn their words. But numbers, I learned how to write from 1 to 10 basically. So yeah.
Okay. Then came Dubai, right? How did that shift happen and what made you decide to settle in Dubai?
All right, so I worked in the Jeddah, Saudi Arabia for 5 years. So I decided to move to another country and I wanted to explore perhaps a new country. And during that time, my two sisters also were working in Dubai. So I decided to went back to the Philippines. I stayed there for 1 month and then I went to Dubai. And then an opportunity came. So I worked in a medical center for 2 years till I moved to a five-star hotel here in Dubai. And currently, I'm working now as a hotel nurse and an HR coordinator.
You're wearing a lot of badge when it comes to working. And now that you're in a dual role as a hotel nurse and as a HR coordinator, that's very huge, like I mentioned. How did that promotion happen and how do you balance both roles?
You know, Joe, working in the hospitality industry has given me the opportunity to excel beyond my nursing profession and step into the world of human resources. I have always wanted to expand my knowledge, not just only in healthcare, but also in the world of corporate. Human resources and nursing have things in common. They are greatly connected with each other. And as an HR and nurse, you should have like a strong interpersonal capabilities and you have the ability to connect or interact with different individuals. Basically, you need to empathize each individual. And my HR director, so my potential in me growing up in the field of human resources. So again, luckily I got the promotion and I genuinely love what I am doing and I have a passion on them. So maybe this is the secret. That's why I manage them effectively with time management and dedication. So this is the story about how I get the promotion of being an HR. There are times that I get busy and I feel occupied, but if you love what you are doing, so you will able to manage them effectively and continue growing in both fields.
Between two jobs, what are you most fond of between the two?
I would say I don't want to mention one job and another job. As I mentioned, I started to love as well human resources. So there are some aspects that I love with human resources. And of course, there are some aspects that I also love being a nurse. So both of them, I appreciate this two dual role.
What aspects do you love about nursing? You can give me at least three examples. And what aspects of the human resource role do you actually like too as well?
What I would basically mention is that you can interact with different individuals. Basically, you need to empathize them, listen to them, and you can connect with different people with different backgrounds. Yeah, so that is some of the aspects I love between these two jobs.
Looking back on your journey so far, how have you changed, not only professionally, but as a person?
John, looking back on my journey, I've come to realize that I've grown and matured enough in facing different challenges. I accepted failures in life and I view them as an opportunity to grow. Another one is I realized that happiness comes from being contented. Contentment doesn't mean that you are settling for less or maybe you are giving up or stop chasing your dreams. It's about appreciating your journey, finding peace in the present moment, and finding meaning even in the simplest things. Joe, I am lucky enough that I have all these blessings in my life. I have a home, I have my family, I eat 3 times a day, I have a job. If you compare yourself to others, there are some people who don't have that blessings. There are some even who are sleeping in the street, are not able to eat 2 times a day. They have a broken family. So thank God that I have all these blessings. So because of being contented.
You're absolutely right. And I think a lot of times we forget to appreciate the little things in life. The mere fact that we have food on the table, we have a shelter that we use on a daily to provide us home, that's a big thing. For you, what is the misconception of working abroad or being an OFW?
The misconception of working in abroad that they think that because they see your posts in social media, especially me that I really love traveling. So of course I want to share my experience with my relatives and my close friends. But of course I have also some other followers wherein just comes the misconception that I am like rich guy and I'm not that humble enough to connect with them because now I changed a lot. So these are the misconceptions that I got from them usually.
Sometimes working abroad, it comes with a lot of sacrifices, homesickness, and not being able to be with your family on special occasions. And when you get the time to have a break or to have a day off, the time that you want to indulge yourself with little present or reward for yourself, it may look social or
Yes.
but it's actually that's the quality of life here in Europe too as well. It's not glamorous, but it looks most of the times it looks aesthetic because they do take care of their country. Anyway, for those thinking about going abroad or in the middle of their own struggles, what message or advice would you like to leave them?
For those who are dreaming to come and work in abroad, don't stop chasing your dream. Don't give up on your dreams. I know that challenges may arise, failures will come, but this is part of the journey. So you need to embrace the challenges. Of course, you need to pray to God and seek support from your family members as well as to your friend. The road is huge, wide, and do not be dismayed or discouraged by any challenges that may come along your way.
If you would describe your life and your journey in a song, what would it be and why?
There's a song from Lea Salonga. I forget the title actually, but I'm relatable to that since I love to travel. The song is somehow relate to life about.
Is it Journey?
Yes, correct. Journey by Lea Salonga. So I love that song and I'm relatable to that song. If you listen to the song, you can relate much about that one. So yeah, I love that song from Lea Salonga, the journey itself.
Journey. What a
Yes,
journey it
correct.
has been. Hi,
Yes.
Bongga. So, since you mentioned that your parents has been one of the driving force in your success right now, what would your message to them?
Joe, actually, my father has already passed away. And of course, I
Sorry.
dedicate whatever I achieve in life, I dedicate to him. So as well as to my mother, you know that how I really appreciate all the efforts and sacrifices you made when the times were the times that I still struggling to be here. And I love you, and I will support you through thick and thin. I'm always here if you need any support from me. And so this is the message to my parents.
That's very beautiful. Marky, I just want to go back to your experience transitioning. Have you experienced any discrimination or unfairness when it comes to you and dealing with the nationals that actually you were dealing with when you were starting working?
I would say, in every country that you will go, there will be a discrimination. And so far, what I experienced in countries that I work with, there were discrimination, I would say, but it's not that much that impacted my life because I was able to survive whatever discriminations.
Palaban. I have heard a lot of stories. And even myself, the discrimination sometimes it's a given when you actually work in another country because they almost feel like you're taking jobs away from them. And what is this national doing over here? Like what I mentioned, like taking our jobs or like, taking some of our opportunity that we should be having. But at the same time, I have also heard that in the Middle East, Filipinos are highly celebrated because of the amount of workers that supports the workforce of the Middle East. So they're very appreciative of their employees. I would say.
Just to share with you, I felt also discriminated because I applied for a specific visa in one of the countries. So I got a refusal. Maybe because, again, it was connected with discrimination. They were thinking that you're Filipino, and of course, you don't have that power or the ability to go there and to visit their country. So somehow I really felt discriminated on that point that they didn't even know me, what really my heart desires, that I just wanted to go there to see how their country is, how beautiful their country is. But by just refusing to go there, it's like they discriminated you, even they don't know you, really your intentions. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I totally understand. And for someone that has faced discrimination and has been fooled by a scammer, and I know that we have fellow kababayans that also have experienced the same, maybe they are losing faith with humanity or the opportunities that they can attain in life. Is there a message that you can share to our fellow kababayans that is going through what you've been through when it comes to being scammed by a potential employer, being discriminated, being denied entrance or access to the workforce in a country where they want to work?
So as I mentioned, Joe, all these trials and challenges, discriminations, failures, use them as your fuel to even strive harder, to even determine, and to even committed to pursuing your whatever goals in your life you may have. So don't be dismayed or discouraged by any of these challenges. So always pray to God, always seek support from your family or to your friends that can guide you and eventually in reaching your goal.
Beautiful. If you could speak to your 5-year-old self right now, what would you tell them?
You've come this far. I'm so proud of you. You may not have all the material things in life, but I see the true joy or the genuine happiness in your heart. You follow your heart desires, continue exploring the world. Exploring is also learning new cultures, meeting new people, and always be contented in whatever you have in your life. So always be happy and always be humble and always pray to God.
Mark, when you were 5, did you even dream about being a nurse or your dream was different from your profession right now?
Actually, it's different. When I was a 5-year-old, I was a frustrated flight attendant. Because usually in our house, we have this poster wherein all the countries were there, like London, Australia, US. So every day I always dream of visiting these countries. I was really fascinated of this beauty of each countries. So maybe that's why now I started to pursue my dreams, which is traveling and visiting all those countries that I found it in our house in one of the magazines.
You actually manifested something that you never thought it's gonna happen in the future. And even though you didn't end up being a flight attendant, you're actually a global trotter right now. I mean, you are traveling from one place or another. I've seen your travel photos. I've seen how happy and fulfilled your inner child. Every time I actually see those photos, I'm so proud of how far you've accomplished in life, especially looking back during our elementary days. I've also seen the struggle that you have faced during that time. It wasn't rainbow and butterflies. It's true what you've said earlier. Um, to be accepted of who and what you are sometimes comes with a lot of judgment from other people, but you yourself prove that screw the haters. I'm just gonna do me. I'm gonna focus on what I need to do with my life so I can provide not only myself but my family a better future. And on top of that, still do what I love to do most, traveling and seeing the world.
Correct, correct, John. And thank you, Joe, for that.
Yes, I think it's a different feeling when there's internal racism and discrimination within your country, right? Because I remember during elementary, I've seen Marky because I'm being teased the same time. We're like the misfit of the class, but at the same time, together with our other friend Maki and Marky actually rise in the occasion. They're consistent honor students, and it's one of the things that I admire of my two Mark friends. So I'm so proud that you've come so far. You proved a lot of haters wrong, but not only that, you proved yourself that you deserve nothing but the best in life.
Thank you, Joe. I remember when we are in elementary, we used to be seatmates, right?
I have a story, and we're not gonna name names,
Yeah, okay,
okay?
okay.
So we have a seatmate that has lice, kuto.
Yes, I remember. Oh my God,
We're not gonna
I know
name
her.
names.
Yeah, I know her. I don't want to also give the more details, but I wish that she already overcame those kuto or lies. Now that she is married and with a happy family now,
Happy
happy life.
wife na
Yes,
siya.
yes.
Yes. And
Goodbye kuto.
like
No,
kuto.
actually, that was worse because it's very visible. Even in
Yeah.
your visible eyes, you can see or notice that lies on her hair. You can even count how many lies that is on her hair.
It looks like a formation during flag
Yeah.
ceremony. We're so bad. We're talking about this person, but like it's a memory back
Yeah, it's a actually it's
in
a memory.
elementary.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were kids, and you already know that time that, oh my gosh, how am I going to deal with it? But Marky actually dealt with it better than anybody else because he ended up sitting seatmates with a girl later on.
And that was when we are seatmates, we have this, how you call this one, this word we always use, it's yaga. I don't know where did
Like,
I got that word even.
and Yaga has been your nickname too for a while when we were back in like I know
Elementary days.
Marky as Yaga. So when our colleague and friend Maki mentioned that, "Oh, did you know that Marky he's already working in Dubai?" So, and I was like, "Who Marky? Yaga? Oh, Yaga!" I remember Yaga, and also during that time we used to add words. For example, we used to add G words in everything, right? Do you
Yes,
remember
yes,
that?
yes. It was an expression basically.
Yeah, but I love hanging out around you in elementary. I think that made my elementary days
Yes.
like really
So
worth it.
yeah, I hope that this year I will go to Germany to have connection with you again and also with the Mark. So hoping for that.
Oh yes, definitely, and we'll make sure that we will explore not only one country but multiple countries while you're
Correct.
here and make the most out of it and let those haters hate.
True. Sige.
Anyway, since talked about speaking to your 5-year-old self, fast forward in the future. What is your message to yourself right now?
My message to myself is life is short. Enjoy your life to the fullest. Along the way, still, the road is huge, wide, and you need to conquer all those challenges. Do not be discouraged by any challenges that may still arise. Follow whatever your heart desires. Do not forget your parents. Do not forget God that there to guide you. And yes, so always be happy and by being contented and keep on going because the journey has just begun for you.
That is so
Yes.
beautiful. Ano, pang
Miss
final
Universe.
Q&A. With a crown. Eh. Panalong panalo. And lastly, the question I ask most of my guests. If there's one thing in your life that you've unboxed, whether it's a realization, a lesson, or truth about yourself, what would it be?
So I would say that one thing that I've unboxed in my life is the realization that happiness is not something that you find. It's something that you choose. For a long time, what I believe in and what I thought is that genuine happiness and joy comes from reaching certain goals or obtaining certain materials in life. But the truth is, true happiness comes from within, from appreciating the journey, from loving yourself, from finding peace in the present moment. This truth has changed the way I see the world. So this even made me to live more purposefully and more at peace. So yeah, that is the one thing that I've unboxed in my life.
Wow, what a ride. Marky's story is a proof that the path to purpose isn't always smooth. But it's those rough moments, those rejections, detours, and losses that we grow into who we are meant to be. From being determined scholar in Baguio to dual role professional in Dubai, Marquis shows us that strength isn't just about enduring, it's about evolving. And that's what Unboxed with Joe is all about, revealing the layers we carry, the boxes we break free from, and the truths we finally speak out loud. Thank you so much, Marky, for sharing your heart with us today.
Thank you so much, Joe. It was really an amazing to see you once again and to share my stories.
I'm pretty sure a lot of our fellow not only our fellow kababayans, but people that is in the hospitality industry, the medical industry, will relate and somehow feel inspired with our episode for today. And like I mentioned earlier, I am so proud of what you've become and I'm so excited of what's in store for you, and I'm always here rooting.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Thank you so much, Marky, for sharing your heart with us today again. And to our listeners, if this podcast inspired you or made you think of someone who might relate, don't forget to share it. And if you haven't yet, follow Unbox with Joe for more unfiltered conversation every other Wednesday. Till next time, take care and keep unboxing the real you.